Hello and welcome to Lab Talk. This is our 25th episode of Lab Talk, but our first of 2024. My name is Angela Carnwright. I will be your moderator today. I'm part of the marketing team here at Thermo Scientific. This is the first in a series of 2 episodes that will talk about sustainability specifically in the lab. And today we are going to introduce our Pipette Tip recycling program. Super exciting. This is something that's going to affect every lab out there, whether you're in biotech or academic labs, whether you're in healthcare. Many labs use pipettes, which means many labs use tips. So we have a very exciting program to introduce, and the person who's going to help us learn more about this program is Mike Montanez. He is our commercial manager for liquid handling products. So I'm going to welcome Mike to the stage here, and I'm going to hand it to him to introduce our tip recycling program. Hi, Mike.
Thanks, Angela. How are you?
Great. I'm excited to learn more. I can't wait for this information session.
All right. I'm excited as well. So thanks, everyone, for taking the time to join today's call. As Angela said, my name is Mike Montanez. I am the commercial manager covering liquid handling solutions products with Thermo Scientific. So today we're going to be exploring on how to maximize sustainability within the lab, specifically focus on exploring the world of pipette tip recycling. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. All right, at Thermo Scientific, our approach to environmental sustainability is always grounded in science with a focus on our customers. So to help make sure we stay true to our goals, which is making sure we make the world healthier, cleaner, and safer, there are 3 areas we want to focus on. First being our commitment to achieve our goals to reduce emissions. Second, investing in innovation, not only in design and development of the highest performing products, but also to minimize environmental impact of our products and packaging wherever possible. And we do this in collaboration with our stakeholders, including customers, suppliers, colleagues, industry associates, all while providing transparency and a public understanding of our environmental impact and progress towards our goals. So with that, let's dive in while we're really here, and that's to discuss how we can work together to reduce single-use plastics in the lab. When you look at today's landscape, we have 27 billion pounds of plastic that enter the ocean every year. Out of that 27 billion pounds, only 9% of that is recycled. So 12 billion pounds of plastic that's what's contributed in labs from 2015. Now, as you can imagine, this is a major problem that needs to be addressed. However, the work still needs to continue. As you might have asked yourself, how do we achieve this goal while still being sustainable to our goals in the lab and our work itself? And the answer is not simple, but it's about finding the right balance of quality products that will meet your needs, that will also help meet your green initiatives. Liquid handling is a foundational step in just about every life science process, from basic serial dilution to a multitude of complex assays. So pipettes and pipette tips can be found in almost every lab, which is great, but in every industry and every segment across the world. So every time a sample or liquid moves from one vessel to another, a pipette tip is most likely used, along with a pipette itself. Not only that, but you also get the racks and inserts that come along with those pipettes as well. The pipette tip is extremely essential to every process, no matter what particularly you're doing, and it's vital that they're manufactured at very high standards to meet the customer's needs and the needs of their science. Because pipette tips are used in so many different forms of scientific research, you can imagine that this also generates a lot of waste, which begs the question, what do we do with all that waste? As a lab, where do I even start? So step 1 would be, let's develop a strategy. Look at ways to make purchasing simple, take advantage of purchasing pipette tips and racks that actually are recyclable. Also, educate your staff and conduct an audit, and this can be pretty eye-opening. A good place to start is understanding what your lab is throwing away, getting a better understanding of what is being disposed and what we could do to create a more sustainable habits. From there, analyze the data gathered, take a look at alternative greener options for your products that not only meet your sustainability goals. This is also a great way and a great time to engage with your teams to see if they have any suggestions of alternative products that you could also incorporate to meet your goals. Next would be look for a champion within the organization. These champions can help with adoption. The best way to get help internally for adoption is to find someone to really promote the program, to help meet your sustainability goals. And everyone loves, peer-to-peer initiatives in regards to helping that initiative moving forward. Lastly, I'd like to recommend collaborating with your EH&S team to develop a plan of action to meet your sustainability goals. So here are some ideas and some processes to think about. First, how do you separate and handle the products that are acceptable to be recyclable and not be recycled? Also, things to consider: what type of programs are available to participate in? Can you recycle tips or just the boxes and inserts themselves? Are there programs that allow other plastics to be recycled outside of pipette tips? Next would be how to collect the recyclable product. We've seen customers separate some products based upon what is acceptable and what's not. That's one way to do it. We've also seen customers separate based upon what the recycling partners deem as recyclable. And that could be, as I mentioned earlier, pipette tips, the racks themselves, inserts. This also includes other plastics depending on the partner. In some cases, labs will separate the product at specific lab levels, meaning these labs can participate, these can't. Then EH&S or other forms of organizations can help actually collect the plastics themselves to get them where they need to be to recycle. So after everything is collected, it's on to packing. This could be as simple as taping up boxes, adding shipping labels to be sent to their correct area. In other instances, it's consolidating plastics into larger boxes for pickup, just depending on what the program entails. And then the last step would be shipping. These options might be very simple. It could be as easy as contacting FedEx to pick up one of the boxes and plastics be recycled. Other instances are waiting for a recycler to come pick them up based upon a predetermined schedule. Whatever your plan is, make sure whatever you come up with is easy to execute so the adoption continues to meet your company's goals. Now, step 2, choosing the right partner. And this is important in many different ways. You've already taken the first initial step of analyzing your products, what you're currently using, how you can reduce waste. Now you can engage with some of your suppliers to see if they have greener options available from the current products you're using or some alternatives. And these conversations can be as simple as, do you offer a recycling program? Give the supplier one of your plastics that they're using to see if they have any alternative, any programs in place. You can also look for suppliers that have greener initiatives and sustainability goals in mind, or look into a third-party recycler as well. Now, when you're engaging your suppliers, it's important to discuss green initiatives that you might have, because they might be focused on the same thing, so you both can kind of work together in that aspect. We understand in most instances that recycling is not free. However, it is important to find a cost-effective program that will fit into your budget and also help with adoption. The last thing to consider here is when you're choosing the right partner, look for programs that are really simple, have an easy process, that are scalable, and you can start from beginning to end. Now let's look at step 3, which would be focus on a sustainable future. Now you have a brand new strategy and partner in place. Now your business can start to reduce plastic waste that are going into landfills, which is also great to see you contribute to less waste that are going to there and alternative options with recycling. It is important with all this data, you really take a step back and look to see at ways you can help reduce your plastics that are generally going into the lab. There might be many different ways to help achieve this. Let's look at a few of the options of some products that you're taking in that can help reduce this. One, you can look at some reload towers or refill towers. That's also a great way to save some space. That's less plastic, and you're just using your pre-existing racks to refill those. You can look at purchasing tips in bulk. You receive a larger shipment where you're separating those. More cost effective. It just takes time, but you also reduce some plastic in that aspect. And also look for products that use less plastic, whether that's in the reload towers or racks in general. It's also a great way to reduce the plastic waste that are going into landfills. And then take a look back to see, is there ways to reduce unnecessary waste? Can these experiments be achieved in smaller volumes before we scale up and larger? And that's a good way to not use as much tips. And also you're making an impact of how much plastic is going in to landfills or your recycler as well, if you are recycling. So work towards optimizing your protocols. Am I using the right pipette for the right tip for the protocol? Am I using the correct techniques? This is all something to consider. And then make sure the equipment is operating and performing to specs. How often are we validating? Are we calibrating these pipettes in between services and schedule? That's also a great way to help make sure your work is accurate and you're not using as much tips. Also look for ways to help close the loop, and that can be in many different forms. For example, using reground pipette tips that are maybe turned into plastic pallets, plastic chairs. At Thermo Fisher Scientific, we also have paper coolers available. If you're taking products and you're shipping, one of our counterparts, BID, has these paper coolers that their products are shipped in. I know some of our customers are actually using that particular product to ship their own product out to their customers, which is a good way to help reduce costs because that is recyclable. And lastly is develop matrix around these goals to make sure you're hitting your goals and initiatives to help monitor progress and help gain further adoption. At Thermo Fisher Scientific, we strive to deliver products that can help customers minimize their environmental footprint, advance their sustainability goals. And of course, it's not just about what you buy. Partnering with Thermo Fisher on sustainability goes well beyond purchasing greener products. So from supply centers to offers sustainable delivery products, plastic recycling, cold storage optimization technology, we offer a wide range of offerings to help design to hit your sustainability goals. All right, so on the previous slide, we spoke about closing the loop, okay? So to help make your organization more sustainable, let's talk about one way we can help do that. In this example, you can see a pipette tip being used in a lab. These tips are used, and you can see they're being disposed free of liquids, hazardous chemicals, and they're being discarded to a recycler. These tips are also in turn taken over to the recycler with a third-party company by the name of Triumvirate. They are treated, ground down, turned into recycled plastic lumber, and that lumber is actually turned into pallets. These pallets are available to purchase, and what's great about it is if they happen to break, you can buy replacement parts. And let's also look at some other ways that Triumvirate is looking to help reduce plastic waste. Why is this a great way to close the loop? Okay, so plastic pallets are stronger than wood. They last 20 times longer than traditional wood pallets. These pallets are also safer for employees due to strength, durability, and they're extremely easy to maintain in regards to resistant to acid and corrosiveness. The best part is if a piece breaks, as I mentioned earlier, you can order replacement parts to get that repaired and ready to go. And if you want to learn more, you can visit that website below. And we're actually using some of these products in a few of our warehouses across North America, which is awesome because we're helping reduce plastic waste as well. Now, what are some other ways that our third-party company we're partnered with to help reduce single-use plastic? In this example, these are plastic benches. You see, this is another great way to promote recycling in your organization. We currently have 2 of our manufacturing sites that have these benches on site. It's a great way for employees to take a break on their busy work days. We also have some of our customers right now that are currently looking and putting, plaques on some of these benches themselves. They're running internal promotions to help with adoption, and whoever wins, they're going to buy the bench and put that particular name of the lab itself on there. It's a great way also to make a little bit of competition internally to help meet your sustainability goals and help achieve what you need to. Now, this past year, we have launched the new Pipette Tip Recycling Program. We're very excited about this, and this is really the reason why we're here. This program is extremely easy to participate in. It's really easy to order, and it's been available currently as of January for the 48 continental U.S. states. So Thermo Fisher Scientific is helping reduce single-use plastics in the lab by partnering with a third-party company to recycle our pipette tips, racks, and wafer inserts that go along with that. The program is extremely simple to use and operate. Order a current product that you might already be using, whether that's the Thermo Fisher Scientific Art Tip or a Thermo Fisher Scientific Sofidel Tip. And we've just slightly altered that product number that you currently may have been ordering in the past. Order that one part number. You get everything included. You'll get the plastic insert that can go back in the box where you received your tips from. You'll get a tie to actually tie everything back together, an instruction to use, and a prepaid shipping label. So everything is really easy to order, pick, pack, and ship. And this is how one of the ways we're helping reduce single-use plastic waste going into landfills and partner with organizations to help meet their sustainability goals. Now let's take it one step further and see how easy it is to recycle. So it's going to be as simple as use the tips as you normally would as you complete your work. One recommended best practices would be you have a bin designed specifically to put your non-biohazardous tips in. Once that bin is filled up, collect them, whether that's at the end of the workday, you're dumping them into a larger bin or dumping in the box that has the plastic receptacle in, the box and as well as a case of tips that you received, the box that was used for the case of tips that you received, or you put it in a separate bin and gather it throughout the week and then dump them back in the box. Once the box is filled of the racks, the inserts, the pipette tips themselves, go ahead and close them up. Use that twist tie to seal up the bag itself. Remove any prepaid shipping label previously that may have been on there. Fill out the waiver insert that was actually included with the case of tips as well. Put that on the inside. You're going to tape up the box, put the prepaid shipping label on there, contact FedEx. FedEx will pick up the case of tips or multiple cases of tips and send it right over the recycler. From there, Triumph will help close the loop, grind up that plastic that would be traditionally going into landfill and waste, right? And turn those into plastic pallets or other items that we were speaking about earlier. So now that we have an understanding of how Thermo Fisher Scientific is helping make an impact to reduce single-use plastics, let's check in and see what the Immersive Lab is also doing to reduce single-use plastics.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Megan. I see Dr. Roberts there. What is she doing?
Hey, so she was sitting here listening to your presentation while she was doing some pipetting. She just finished up, so she was just throwing her tips away in the bucket there.
So is she just throwing them in the trash, or is she going to plan on recycling those?
Oh, you know what? We did just get that great recycling kit. I bet she just forgot that we had that. You know, she was so used to throwing them in the trash. Can you give her a little rundown or reminder again on what she needs to do with that kit and the components that come with it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad we transitioned over just to make sure we didn't actually throw those away. So as you can see, this is an example of what you will receive when ordering a case of tips. So we have the box of tips themselves that you'll get a full case. And then that's a rack that was pulled out of the case itself. So when you receive the product, you're going to have everything laid out to the right of that rack of tips. So you have the plastic insert, the instruction to use, the waiver, the prepaid shipping label, all right there on top. So take that out, go ahead and unpack your tips. You can sort your racks, get them to wherever you need to in the lab themselves, whoever wants to use them. And then it's going to be as simple as open up the box. And Megan, if you don't mind, will you put that plastic insert in the box? Just so Dr. Roberts can see that and she understands what it's going to look like. Perfect. So just that easy. It's going to be right there. And then now, just so Dr. Roberts understands where it needs to go at that point, can you throw some tips in there just so she can see how to discard those? And once again, you can actually put the racks and inserts in there as well. Perfect. And recycling is just that simple and easy. So once that's full, Megan, if you let Dr. Roberts know, just tape that sucker up, put that shipping label on there. Yeah, forgot. Got to tape it up and put that insert on there. And just tell her to give FedEx a ring. They'll come pick it up. And then she is helping make an impact to help reduce single-use plastic. So thank you, Immersive Lab. Thank you, Dr. Roberts, for taking the time to walk everyone through that. I'm happy I caught her before she started throwing those away. In summary, Thermo Fisher Scientific Tip Recycling Program offers a solution to help reduce single-use plastic waste. This might be one method you would use to help reduce laboratory waste. And there are many other strategies that you can do to implement. So Don't forget to make things simple and easy to recycle. The more adoption you get within your organization is always better. Don't forget to take the time to educate your staff. That could be really important to let them know the key initiatives that the organization has and how we're going to focus on hitting those goals themselves. And lastly, collaborate with your EH&S team to help develop a plan on how your organization is going to help reduce plastic waste and recycle. It's important to choose a correct partner, right? So looking for greener options and speaking to your partners around green initiatives is going to be vital. This is a great time when you're doing that to see what other kind of recycling programs I might be offering or recommendations. Also, make sure whatever programs you put in place is cost effective and is a true recycling process. And as we help work together towards to have a sustainable future and reducing plastic waste that are going to landfills, hopefully a brighter future is ahead of us where recycled products are being introduced to your business or you are recycling. And don't forget to work towards a way to measure your success to make sure you're hitting your goals as a company. To learn more, you can visit the link below for additional information on the pallets. I think there's also some resources on the tabs on the right-hand side. I'd like to thank everyone. Thank Megan. Thank you, Angela, for allowing me to get on here today.